European Championship. I forget what it was named. I think it was named the European Championship back in the day. Because you had the light heavyweight title, that was their cruiserweight title. Then you had the Intercontinental title, that was for like their mid card. And then you had the worker title, was what I always called it, because it was right underneath the IC title. I forget the name of it. But it was a great building ground for cats in your company. Like if you had this title, all right, you're eventually going to get a push. Same thing they did with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, within a year, had all the titles, which was a great idea to do with Shawn Michaels because he, at said time, could go in the ring. And I think you could go the same way with a Roman. Getting sidetracked here. Roman, he needs something to do other than John Cena. And I think John Cena, I think he would have been better suited to go up against The Miz, grabbing the title off The Miz. If you're gonna keep Roman Reigns babyface, you can have Roman go up against a Bray Wyatt and a Finn Balor in a triple threat match. You can still do the same thing with The Miz. I voiced that last week on the JP show. So I would rather see something of that nature. Coming full circle now. The CM Punk pipe bomb. It wasn't better than the CM Punk pipe bomb. Giving you my overall review on both of these promos, neither one was better than Punk's. It will never be better than Punk's. You can't recreate that fucking magic. It will never happen again. And you would have to deal with it until Punk comes back. Which they all come back. This ain't me telling you, oh, Punk's on his way back, get ready, da da da. No, I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is, when Punk comes back, expect a hellified, glorified, well-deserved, glorious promo. Glorified and glorious, yes. I put both of them right behind each other or close to each other. I know. Grammar. I get it. But I'm just saying. That takes us into our next segment. With Kurt Angle responding, what is the Jason Jordan storyline missing? Now, Kurt Angle was on, I believe, a sports report. I forget the name that came out with this report. But Kurt Angle, in an interview, basically responded to the what's wrong with Jason Jordan's storyline, and it's basically Jordan. You know, it's not that he can't wrestle in the ring, it's his ability to connect with the fans. You get the idea that Jason Jordan is plain, boring. There's no energy there. A lot like Kurt Angle back in the day. Even though with this storyline, I wouldn't have went with Jason Jordan. I would have went with Chad Gable. Just because there's a lot more energy there. You can see Chad Gable fucking oozing excitement in the ring. Not only in the ring, but in his promos. So I would have definitely went with Jason Jordan Chad Gable versus Jason Jordan if I had to pick between the two cats that was in American Alpha. Meanwhile, okay, the way the storyline jumped off is a bad storyline. All the way around. It's unfucking believable. One. Two, outside of these guys being like athletically matched, there's really no connection to Jason Jordan and fucking Kurt Angle. There's no connection there. There's just, they more or less wrestle the same style. Let me get Jason Jordan over. And the best way you could have got Jason Jordan over with Kurt Angle, you have Kurt Angle come in. And this is just me fantasy booking the Jason Jordan Kurt Angle storyline. You have Kurt Angle come in. You have Kurt Angle work a deal to get Jason Jordan and Chad Gable over. Okay? Kurt Angle promotes these guys as the new Team Angle. Not only does he show them favoritism, he books them in matches. He books them in winning scenarios. Now, again, essentially this turns Jason Jordan and Chad Gable heel. But you can have Chad Gable not being cool with what's going down and have them two feud it out. Now you're building both stars at the same time. Essentially, you would break up the new Team Angle, but you're building superstars. And you can have Chad Gable come in on some, you know what, Kurt, I'm done with this. I don't like the way you do business. I'm out. And you can have Jason Jordan No, Kurt, I'm with you. We're going to do it the way we've been doing it. I don't understand what's wrong with Chad Gable, okay? And then instead, with Jason Jordan staying with Kurt Angle could have brought in Shelton Benjamin. Now you put Shelton Benjamin and Jason Jordan together. That's a fucking tag team. That's a tag team. Athletically, that is a fucking tag team. So, there you go. I just fantasy booked a hell of a better storyline within under 5 minutes. So, that's pretty much my answer to how you could have booked it from the jump. How do we fix it from where it's at now? Easy. You gotta start putting Jason Jordan in a scenario. And of course, this is without turning them face or anything like that. Without turning them heel. You can put Jason Jordan in a scenario where he is overcoming the odds. Not based off of booking. Just based off of talking himself into a corner here. And I think they were going that way with Emma. When Emma said, if I was Jason Jordan, I had a title shot. You could have spun off of that. You could have had other talent, like you did with The Miz, come in and say the exact same thing. Which puts Jason Jordan into a situation where, okay, I have to not only defend myself, but defend my so-called father's honor. But in the same sense, Kurt Angle's not involved with it. Kurt Angle's playing his role as GM. You can have segments where him and Jason Jordan has a good back and forth of, damn, I'm going up against these guys and I'm taking a loss or I'm taking a win. And, Kurt Angle can be sympathizing or celebrating with Jason Jordan. But they never really have Kurt Angle feeling like, my son is in danger or something like that until you put him up against somebody, a heel guy. I mean, a badass heel. Hate to say it, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe would be the perfect person for that spot because he's wrestled with Kurt Angle. And he can still go in the ring and he can wrestle with a Jason Jordan. And I believe Jason Jordan would get over just based off of that. You can have fucking Joe come out and put the coquina clutch on Jason Jordan. Have Kurt Angle come down, throw in the towel or something of that nature. And I believe people would get behind Jason Jordan based off of that. You can have freaking, what's the next pay-per-view? Fucking Survivor Series pre-show. Jason Jordan versus Samoa Joe. I hate to put Joe on the pre-show. But Samoa Joe versus Jason Jordan with Kurt Angle in his corner as the special guest referee. As the manager or even a special guest referee. You could do that scenario. And that's how I would book it. But that's all the time we got for today, you guys. My name is JP the Outlaw. Please don't forget to follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, and also follow us on Twitter. Appreciate all the guys that's actually coming out on Twitter and giving me a like or giving me a follow. I truly appreciate that, you guys. I'm going to start using my Twitter a little bit more. I said that at least ever since I started this hobby of mine. But and soon not to be a hobby. I really want this thing to grow and be my way of life, my way of living. I believe my fan base that I have now are rabid. I think that they are extremely bananas, and I use that word all the time now. But they are good fans, and I appreciate these guys, especially the guys on Wrestling Amino, which you guys today will get my TNA Rebirth reveal, where we go over the roster, so on and so forth, in an exclusive TNA World Heavyweight Championship match, where we will determine who will be our World Heavyweight Champion for the TNA Gameplay Series, which will probably be just exclusive for Wrestling Amino, because you guys have been asking about that, and I want to put it back out there. If you are interested in something like that, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. I am JP the Outlaw. I am out.